So the president plays a little bit of smackdown politics, and now the Democrats don't know what to do. He can't do that. This is just a stunt. It's a scam. He can't sign executive orders and take power away from us. But now they have to explain to their constituents why they aren't helping them during the pandemic. Bum ba dum bum. Let me go on record as absolutely saying how much I hate stimulus. May I say that again? I hate it. Now, on the one hand, though, I do understand that there are many Americans who desperately need a helping hand right now. And I understand that many people, through no fault of their own, find themselves out of work. Out of work because governors, in particular of democratically blue states, have decided the only way they can stop Donald Trump from being reelected is to clamp down, tamp down the economy. There is no groundswell of support for Joe Biden. You know, reports are coming out today. The polls are narrowing. The polls are narrowing. There's never been a momentum in this country to replace Donald Trump with Joe Biden. That whole thing is a fallacy. It is a lie. Do you remember how close Joe Biden actually came to not even getting the Democratic nomination? He was getting smacked down during the primaries. It wasn't until the black vote turned out in North Carolina that things turned around for him. And then it was like dominoes falling in line. All the big money Democrats got in line and said, Joe's the guy. And they knew full well at that time he's mentally incapacitated to be the president. But the game plan behind closed doors was, let him be the figurehead. Let him be the puppet. All we got to do is just somehow keep him sounding relatively sane between now and Election Day. And who knows, if they were to get him elected, why, in the middle of his speech in January after taking the oath of office, he could turn to whoever the vice president is and say, tag, you're it, I'm done. And I promise you, whoever the VP pick is going to be, and they keep making such a big deal about who will he pick, it better be a woman, and it better be a woman of color. Whoever it is, now that person may think that because Joe is so mentally unfit and probably couldn't even finish out anywhere near the first term, that they will be the president. They'll be brought into the reality that part of the vetting process right now is whoever the powers that be are that are going to pull the strings and actually run a Biden presidential administration. The same goes to the VP. You'll be the figurehead, but you'll do what we say. So this is going to be all interesting stuff playing out in the Democratic world of seedy, nasty, dirty, backstabbing politics. That said, there has never been a groundswell of support for Joe Biden. Case in point, some in conservative media don't understand why the mainstream media didn't say more about Joe Biden inferring and outright saying that, well, you know, Hispanic people, they're diverse, but black people, they're all the same. In other words, saying black people don't think, black people don't have opinions outside what we tell them to have. And there are those in conservative media, why didn't more people say something? This is huge. Well, the reason being is most people didn't hear Joe Biden say the comment. And it's not because it's not out there, they don't care. I'm talking about Democrats don't care. Remember a few weeks ago when they tried to make such a huge deal out of President Trump trying to do a comeback rally, you know, bring rallies back, but, you know, fear of the coronavirus and violence, etc., people stayed away, and the auditorium was only half full. There were only like, you know, 6,000 people there, 9,000 people there, depending on whose numbers you listen to, which is still about a 95% bigger crowd than Joe Biden could ever draw on his best day. Again, think back to the primary, to the campaign trail, where he was having these exchanges with his own voters, threatening to beat him up and challenging him to push-up contests. And, hey, Jack, these were like in junior high school lunchrooms. And the majority of the people in those rooms were like 12 and 14. They were like there with their parents and grandparents. They're not even old enough to vote. There was never, ever been a groundswell for Joe Biden. I'm just going to keep saying it. And so even though Trump only drew a few thousand people at his Tulsa rally, what they don't talk about are the millions of people that watched it live online. Now, Joe Biden does everything online. It's virtual. But nobody watches. Trump got, 10 million people watched him online? 10 million? Joe Biden on his best day can't get 10,000 people to watch him online. I mean, it is an absolute joke. There is no groundswell for Joe Biden. The media is trying to pump it up and make it happen, and they're hoping if they pump it long enough, you'll just believe it. And what they're really trying to do is dissuade Trump voters from voting. That you'll figure between the coronavirus and the rioting, it's just too much of a hassle, too much of a panic. And certainly if they can make it happen where they can get the governors to say, that's it, no in-person voting, we're going to do it all by mail, but their time on that is running out. That decision needs to happen now so that they get the apparatus in place, and it's ticking away, and the vast majority of Americans do not want to vote by mail. They want to vote in person. So there's no huge support for Joe Biden. So even the fact that now they're beginning to report the polls are tightening, Donald Trump is gaining momentum. The unemployment rate dropped yet again on Friday, and we will get another one of those indicators, maybe two more of those before the election. The economy is beginning to strongly rebound. And what are liberals doing? They are trying to control the things that they can control. Like, now the Big Ten is not going to play football. Well, okay. Now the president wants them to play, but they don't want you to have any sense of normalcy. None whatsoever. I just wrote a blog for my church, and I'm getting ready in our church newsletter as I give props to John MacArthur out in California for taking a stand and opening his church, defying Governor Gavin Newsom. By the way, did you hear John MacArthur? His opening Sunday was brilliant. Several thousand people gathered there at Grace Community Church, and he walked out and he said, "Welcome to Grace Community Church, peaceful protest." And several thousand people jumped to their feet, applauded, cheered, and it was classic. It was classic. Friday night, President Trump had members of his golf club together, and a reporter showed up. It was like 7 o'clock Friday night, and "You're not practicing social distancing, and people don't have masks on, and you can't congregate like this. You're violating, even state guidelines about how many people can get together." And President Trump just looked at him and said, "This is a peaceful protest." And everybody in the room howled and cheered and just made that reporter look like the buffoon, the idiot, the moron that they are. And I know they're trying to convince you that there's no energy for Trump and he's just flailing right now. No, he's not. And he's not listening to Fauci anymore. He's still got Birx around. And I'm not quite sure what the strategy is in letting her run her mouth. But Trump is listening to some other people, and as we turn the page from August into September, as we get into the fall, I think you're going to really see the president really ramp up, not reopening the full economy, but completely downplaying, dismissing, and pushing the coronavirus right off the agenda completely. And I realize what keeps it alive right now is the media. And I said in my church blog, I am all done debating on this. I am. Now, that doesn't mean I'm done with the fight. That doesn't mean that I'm done talking about the erroneous propaganda behind the pandemic. But I'm done debating it. I'm done arguing with people. I'm done trying to get them to see reason. If you want to die by not taking hydrochloroquine, and you want to live your life in fear, and you want to spend the rest of your life in your Darth Vader mask and just living in your basement, go for it. I'm done reasoning with you. I'm done talking to you. Get out of my way. And by the way, I did a message on this on Sunday. You preached about this? Yes. In fact, one of the things that I said that people need to do for their own personal, mental, and spiritual health, do something normal. And by the way, I know we all look around, and I get this way. I get really angry when I see things that are just not normal, or this new normal. You know, I started going in stores even though I'm under a state mandate to wear a mask. I'm not wearing it at all. I mean, sometimes I would wear it, just right under my mouth just to get in the door and not have the hassle at the doorway. I'm not even doing that now. Now, I did go into a little mom and pop store the other day to get something, and the clerk behind the counter was being a real, I'm not going to ring you out if you're not wearing a mask. I said, well, you're not the only game in town, pal. And, again, you got your mask on, you're behind your plexiglass. What do you care what I do over here? This whole absurdity and acid, I'm done with it. Because there are businesses that are operating normal. Friday night, my wife and I went out to eat. Beautiful restaurant. And I don't want to mention them by name because I don't want them getting in any trouble. But the place was full. They weren't practicing every other table nonsense. They didn't have any dividers up between the tables. The place was full. They had a bar. I don't drink, but the bar was full. They had outside eating, which was beautiful. And we almost sat out there, but it was really humid Friday night. So we opted to be wimps and sit in with the air conditioning. But I really do love outdoor eating. And for the most part, I don't mind the heat, but it was really uncomfortable. And my wife looked really nice Friday night. It was her birthday, so we opted for the air conditioning. And at one point, we're sitting there and we're just watching. There was an hour wait for people to get in and eat. And the place was packed. Outside, inside, around the bar. And my wife said, this is normal. Yes. And for that hour and a half that we sat there, it was wonderful. It recharged my batteries. And I came away and I have been addressing my church that I'm done fighting about this. We've opened up all of our seating now. There's no more distance seat. We're done with all of it. And I've said, you know what? We're going to push forward. In fact, God is on the throne whether there's a pandemic or not. In fact, right now, if the church was smart, what an opportunity the church has to really be a bold witness. There's a lot of times churches are doing all kinds of ministries that nobody's paying any attention in the world because they're so distracted with everything. But with all of the distractions removed right now, and the fact that the church is becoming an enemy of the state, and some pastors are finally not being wimps and they're pushing back, what an opportunity. And I announced to our church, and they don't know the full picture of what's coming. I said, we're going to build. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to build a gymnasium. We're going to build a youth center. And we're going to build it now. And let me tell you, right now, this isn't the time to build a youth center. This isn't time for churches to do that. Hey, we're not just going to be open. We're going to grow. We're going to grow. We're going to draw in people. We're going to go for it. We're going to grow. While our local school district piddles and diddles and is refusing to open, we're going to grow. We're pushing a homeschool group that's going to be using our building one day a week. They've gone from 20 students to 60. And I have many years' experience as a school administrator. I'm going to help them all I can. And if we get enough guys together, I'll coach a ball team for them. We're going to grow. And we're going to lead the way. And not just by having, I've even thought about having a Sunday night mask burning. If I had that, would you guys come, no matter where you live in the country, would you come to our mask burning? Is that something that you would be willing to jump on a plane and come to a mask burning? I'm really thinking about having one. I'm toying with the idea. My oh my, wouldn't that get media attention? Church not only meeting, but sponsoring a mask burning. I've had it. And I want the church to be triumphant. There was a time When the church would undergo persecution, they would get together and they would pray for boldness to stand up to it. Now we have church leaders getting together talking about, well, we're going to have to keep our doors closed until 2021. Hey, do God a favor. Don't even waste his time opening in 2021, because by closing and staying closed, you're just proving how absolutely non-essential, irrelevant, and a waste of time you are. Stay closed. You're worthless anyway. Your watered down so-called social gospel, your PC, your liberalism, go away. Those of us Bible-thumping fundamentalists, we're going to do just fine. We're going to keep preaching. We're going to keep worshiping. We're going to keep praying. What's your policy to protect people when they come to your services, Pastor? We're going to preach, we're going to worship, and we're going to pray. There it is. Done with all of this other nonsense. Just done with it. Had it beyond up to here. And we're going to lead the way by growing and building and let the world have a look at, what is this? And what will happen? People will come out of curiosity. And they will realize it's normal here. And people are going to start, as we get into fall, really pushing for the normal. So these schools that are talking about not reopening, these colleges that are going to deny everybody football, in the end, they're going to pay. God's going to flip the switch on this thing. How many parents now are going to seek out private school and Christian school education for their children, where they will be taught real American history, not this revisionist bullhawk, not this propaganda education that they get where they're being socially re-engineered. That's what we got marching in our streets right now. The product, the byproduct of public education. Get your kids out of that cesspool. Watch these big colleges and even these professional sports now, they're going in the tank because of all of this woke. Get woke, go broke. And that's what I mean. The church, we are poised right now. What an opportune time for revival. What an opportune time for growth. Leading the way. We can flip the script. And that's why it's important, it's imperative that Donald Trump be the man reelected. Because he will ensure and protect, in particular, the rights of the church to keep doing what it does. Can you imagine what a John MacArthur in California would be dealing with right now with not only a Gavin Newsom in the governor's mansion, but a Joe Biden administration in Washington? I'm all done arguing with people. The stats, this is what it is. It's here. Fauci doesn't have a magic pill to make it go away. Fauci has never cured anything. I have been asking this for weeks. Name me the one virus outbreak that Fauci's ever actually accurately called and had the remedy for. It doesn't exist. He didn't come up with a vaccine for AIDS or swine flu or Ebola or anything else, and yet he's the top dog, the watchdog on all this crap. So enough. 99.8% of the people who get coronavirus will live. You will. The extreme elderly people and those with severe health conditions, you are at risk. Take precautions, protect yourself. Everybody else, take the mask off and go live your life. And live it where they let you live it normal. And if places won't let you live it normal, they're not the only places that do business. Go live life. That's what I'm doing in my ministry. That's what I'm doing here. And I'm encouraging you, do it. Unmask, go live your life. And do not for a moment believe that Joe Biden, on any level, holds a momentous lead over the president. It is all a pure canard. But don't get complacent and disengage and stay home. And don't let them pass off mail-in voting only. By the way, I started out by saying how much I hate stimulus money, and I got on a rant about everything else. By the president signing the executive orders that he did, which Nancy, the only thing was a stunt. It's a stunt. It's amazing, though, how quickly they want to talk to him now. Because again, the American people said, the president wants to help us. Why don't you? I mean, I don't like giving out the stimulus money. And some of you better realize if you're on federal unemployment, you're going to pay taxes on that. Think about it. Think about it. But there are people that need a helping hand right now. I love the fact that, he's throwing in some of those little goodies that the libs would really love, like you can't be evicted right now. It forces Nancy Pelosi and Chuck E. Cheese Schumer to admit they've been playing politics. Politics using a virus to kill the economy, to kill your future, all in the hopes of winning the White House. These are sick, vile people. Remember that on Election Day. Hey, that's it for my Monday rant. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Share this video to your social media platforms and get the word out that we're here. Ring the bell, or as I should say, smack the bell, and give us a click the word all to get notifications of my next rant.